Hello, lovely listeners. Welcome back to Love English, the podcast that's all about helping you master the English language. I'm your host Manoj, and today I have a super exciting episode in store for you. Now, we're gonna talk about something that can make or break your English learning journey. That's translation. That's right. So we're diving deep into how not to translate when learning English. But before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoy this, share it with your friends. Now let's spread the love for English far and wide. So why is translation such a big deal? Well, you see, when you're learning a new language, it's easy to fall into the trap of constantly translating from your native language to the target language. It's a habit that many of us develop but can hinder your progress in more ways than you might think. Firstly, it slows you down. Translating everything you hear or read in English back to native language and vice versa takes time. In a fast paced conversation, you might miss out on what's being said because you are stuck translating in your head. Secondly, it limits your fluency. Instead of speaking or writing naturally, you end up constructing sentences in your head in your native language and then translating them into English. This makes your English sound unnatural and stilted. And lastly, translation can be inaccurate. Languages don't always have direct equivalent words and phrases, and you can end up conveying the wrong message or sounding strange when you rely too heavily on translation. But don't worry, today we're going to explore some fantastic strategies to break free from the translation trap and truly embrace English as should be. So without further ado, let's dive right in. My first tip on how not to translate when learning English is surround yourself with English. Now imagine you've decided to immerse yourself in the world of cooking. What's the best way to learn? By cooking anything, of course. The same goes for learning a language, especially English. Surround yourself with English as much as possible. So how can you do that? Well, there are several ways. First is listen to English music. Find some of your favorite English songs and listen to them. Sing along even if you don't understand every word. You'll get a feel for the rhythm and pronunciation. Watch English movies and TV shows. Pick a movie or a TV series that interests you and try to watch it without subtitles. It might be tough at first, but you'll start catching words and phrases. Number third is read English books. Start with simple books or children's stories. Gradually work your way up to more complex texts. Number four is follow English news and magazines. The news is a great way to stay updated while improving your language skills. Number five is engage in conversations. If you can, find native English speakers to chat with. Online language exchange partners can be a great resource. Remember that the more you surround yourself with English, the less you'll feel the need to translate everything. You'll begin to understand the language intuitively. My second tip is think in English. Now, this might sound easier said than done, but think in English is a powerful way to break free from translation. It helps you build a direct connection between your thoughts and the language. So how can you start thinking in English? Here's a simple exercise you can try. Keep a diary. Write a journal or diary in English. It can be about your day, your thoughts, your dreams, or anything you like. The act of putting your thoughts into words in English helps you think in the language. Second is narrate your actions. As you go about your day, try to describe your actions in English. For example, I'm making breakfast now. I'm pouring cereal into a bowl. Number third, talk to yourself. This might sound a little bit strange, but talking to yourself in English can be incredibly helpful. Describe your feelings, your plans, or even debate with yourself. The more you practice thinking in English, the more natural it will become, and you'll find that you start to bypass translation in your mind. Alright folks, tip number three is learn English idioms and phrases. Idioms and phrases are expressions that often don't translate directly into other languages. They are the heart and soul of a language and can be a real challenge for learners who rely on translation. Here's what you can do to learn idioms and phrases. Number one is create an idiom journal. Whenever you come across an idiom or phrases, write it down in your journal. Include its meaning and an example sentence. Two is use idioms in context. Try to use idioms and phrases in sentences or conversations. This will help you internalize their meanings. Number third is play word games. Crossword puzzles, word searches, and word games. can introduce you to idiomatic expressions in a fun and engaging way. By learning idioms and phrases, you'll start to think in English without translating because these expressions are often unique to the language. Moving on to tip number 4, I have practice active listening. Active listening is a game changer when it comes to language learning. It involves not just hearing words but really understanding them in their context. It helps you break free from translation and become a more intuitive English speaker. Here's how to practice active listening. Number 1, listen to different accents. English is spoken in various accents around the world. Try to expose yourself to different accents so that you can understand English speakers from various regions. Number 2 is take notes. While listening to podcasts, audiobooks, or even during conversations, take notes on new words or phrases you encounter. Then try to use them yourself. Number 3 is repeat what you hear. When you hear a sentence, try to repeat it exactly as you heard it. This will help you with pronunciation and sentence structure. Number 4 is summarize what you heard. After listening to something in English, summarize it in your own words. This helps you process and internalize the information. Number 5 is engage with native speakers. Engaging in conversations with native English speakers is a fantastic way to practice active listening. Don't be afraid to ask them to repeat or explain if you didn't catch something. Active listening trains your brain to understand English without relying on translation. It's a skill that takes time to develop, but is incredibly valuable. Now, tip number 5 is learn grammar in context. Grammar is the fundamental aspect of any language, of course, and it's important to understand it. However, translating grammar rules from your native language to English can be counterproductive. Instead, learn grammar in context. Here's how you can do that. Number 1 is read English texts. Pay attention to how sentences are structured. Look for patterns and common sentence structures. Number 2 is learn through examples. Instead of memorizing grammar rules, focus on learning through examples. This way you'll see how grammar is used in real situations. Number 3 is use language learning apps. Many language learning apps offer grammar exercises with explanations in English. These can be incredibly helpful. By learning grammar in context, you'll develop a deeper understanding of how English works. And you won't need to rely on translation to construct sentences. Alright, now let's move on to tip number 6. Embrace the power of visualization. Now, visualization is an incredibly effective technique to break free from translation. Instead of translating words, you'll create mental images related to what you are trying to express. Here's how you can practice visualization. Picture the words. As you learn new vocabulary, try to visualize the objects, actions, or concepts the words represent. For example, when you learn the word beach, imagine a sandy shore with waves. Second is create mental stories. When you want to convey something, create a mental story or scenario in English. This helps you form sentences without translating. Number 3 is practice with flashcards. Use flashcards with images instead of translations. This will connect words directly to their meanings. Visualization is a powerful tool that allows you to think and speak in English without the intermediary step of translation. Tip number 7 is set specific language goals. Setting clear language goals can help you stay focused on improving your English without the constant need for translation. Here's how you can set effective language goals. Number 1 is define your objectives. Decide what you want to achieve with your English skills. Is it for work, travel, or personal growth? 2 is break goals into steps. Divide your goals into smaller achievable steps. For example, if your goal is to hold a conversation with a native speaker, the steps might include expanding your vocabulary, improving pronunciation, and practicing listening skills. Number 3 is track your progress. Keep a record of your progress. Celebrate your achievements along the way to stay motivated. When you have specific language goals, you'll be more focused on using English as a tool to achieve them, rather than relying on translation. Now, tip number 8 is use technology to your advantage. Now, technology is your best friend. When it comes to language learning, there are numerous apps, websites, and resources that can help you break free from translation. Here are some tech-savvy ways to learn English. Number 1 is language learning apps. Now we've got Duolingo, Memories, and Rosetta Stone are just a few of the apps that can help you practice English on the go. Second is language learning websites like BBC, Learning English, ESL Cafe, and many others offer free resources including grammar lessons and practice exercises. Third is podcasts. Apart from Love English, there are plenty of podcasts that focus on English learning. Listen to them regularly to improve your listening and speaking skills. Social media. Follow English language accounts on platforms like Instagram and Twitter to see how native speakers use the language. Number 5 is YouTube. There are countless English language learning channels that offer tutorials, lessons, and tips. Number 6 is online language exchange websites like Tandem and Speaky connect you with native speakers for language exchange. Utilize technology to make your learning experience more interactive and enjoyable. It's a great way to immerse yourself in the language without the need for constant translation. Moving on to tip number 9. Actually, I've got a lot of tips. I have actually be patient and persistent. Learning a new language is a journey, not a destination. It takes time, effort, and perseverance. The key is to be patient with yourself and stay persistent. Here's how you can practice patience and persistence. Celebrate small wins every step forward, no matter how small is the win. Celebrate these victories to stay motivated. Second, don't fear mistakes. Making mistakes is a natural part of the learning process. Embrace them as opportunities to grow. Number 3 is consistency is key. Regular consistent practice is more effective than occasional intense study sessions. Number 4 is enjoy the journey. Language learning should be enjoyable. Find activities and resources you love to make the journey fun. Set realistic expectations. Understand that becoming fluent in English takes time, and that's perfectly fine. Remember, the more patient and persistent you are, the more confident you'll become in English, and the less you'll rely on translation. And finally, tip number 10 is find a mentor or language buddy. Having a mentor or a language buddy can be a game changer in your English learning journey. This person can guide you, correct your mistakes, and help you practice in a real world context. Here's how to find a mentor or language buddy. Number 1 is join language clubs or meetups. Look for local language exchange clubs or online language learning groups where you can connect with mentors or buddies. Second is language exchange apps like Tandem and HelloTalk connect language learners with native speakers. Number 3 is online forums. Websites like Reddit and Quora have English learning communities where you can ask questions and connect with mentors. Number 4 is take online classes. Enroll in online language courses that provide you with a mentor or tutor. A mentor or language buddy can help you break free from translation by providing real life context, guiding you through conversations, and correcting your mistakes. Well, there you have it. Lovely listeners, 10 fantastic tips on how not to translate when you are learning English. Breaking free from translation is a significant step in your language learning journey. And I hope these tips will help you on your way. Remember, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. Every step you take to think and speak in English without translating is a step closer to fluency. So keep going, keep practicing, and keep loving English. Thank you so much for tuning in to Love English. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, share, and of course leave a comment. Your feedback helps me improve and reach even more language learners like you. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep loving English. This is Manoj signing off.